What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another video, but a bit of a different one to bring to you today. We've got a top 5 list, as tomorrow is St David's Day. First of all, happy St David's Day to all you Welsh wizards out there. But what we're going to bring to you is, it's not a top 5 Welsh list, but a top 5 David's list. You know, we can talk about the Welsh players for a while. We've got Gareth Bale, we've got Cliff Jones, we've got the Super Simon Davis. But what we are going to bring to you today is a top 5 list of the top Davids ever to play for Tottenham. My co-host with me, John, how you doing? Welcome to the channel.
Thank you, good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. Shall we get cracking?
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
All right, starting with number 5, and we're going to go for David Bentley.
Yeah, David Bentley. I mean, he didn't have the best of times at Spurs, but I still feel like he had the technique. You know, he was a good player. Had a memorable moment against Arsenal, which we won't forget.
I was there that day.
A worldie. It was a worldie. Such great opportunity with that goal.
It was a complete worldie. It was in the first 5 minutes of the game, I remember. Goalkeeper kicks it all the way up to the field. I think it was it Jenes that headed it down? I can't remember who actually.
It might have been a little flick from Modric or something like that. Modric. But I know it was aluminum goal.
Yeah, Almunia in goal. David Bentley takes one hit off his right boot and then bangs it all the way over the top, left Almunia scrapping.
Yeah, great game, great game. Actually, one of the most crazy endings to any game that we've seen, isn't it?
So it was, and that was I think Harry Redknapp's first or second game for Spurs as well.
That's right. I think it was his second game.
Yeah,
I think it's his second game, and the second defining moment for Bentley was chucking the ice bucket over Harry Redknapp's head, which he believes lost him his career at Spurs. So.
That's right, yeah. I just remember seeing that moment, all of them, Harry Redknapp doing his talk for making top 4, you know, after that great Man City game, and then the cameras just pan just around the corner, and you see Palacios, David Bentley, Jermaine Genius all giggling around the side with a bucket.
And he's pulled his shorts off and he's doing his little jig.
Yeah, exactly, and then they pour the bucket of water over, and then Bentley's just doing the jig.
Like and we never see those players again.
exactly.
So we've got number 5, David Bentley.
But all in all, his Spurs career will be recognised as a letdown, won't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But I did like the fact that he loved Spurs, and like when he scored, he really, you know, he didn't like Arsenal. You know, he really gave it to the Arsenal fans, and that's what I really liked about him.
£16.5 million signing from Blackburn. At that time, £16.5 million was a huge sum of money, really, and didn't really live up to the hype of that.
No, unfortunately not, which is a shame because we really wanted him to do well. We really wanted him to be the next star, especially because we lost Berbatov as well. So we were hoping for like the next new star, but it didn't quite work out. But number 5, David Bentley.
All right, and moving on to number 4. And number 4, a bit unorthodox, but we're going to go for Davinson Sanchez. just the hint of the name in there, just the hint.
Still Dave, still got a Dav in there.
Exactly, you know, we call him Big Dave at Tottenham.
Yeah,
so, what can you tell me about Davinson Sanchez?
Well, look, he's still young. He's still very young. I think he's 23 years old. Still a raw talent. You know, we threw him into the first team, and he's had some ups and downs, but I think he's held his own. And in many ways, we're kind of used to him being in that position now. He's like, that's his sort of. You know, that's his bread and butter position. Now we don't seem to question it so much now. Still very young, still very, very talented. Came from Ajax, very well touted there.
A lot of money we paid for him.
We did pay a lot of money for him, to be honest with you. We did pay a lot of money for him. When you compare him to players like Tanganga, you're thinking, you know, wow, how good is Tanganga? But at the same time, I still think there's a lot to come from Davinson, not Davids. So that's why, for me, he has to go in number 4.
Yeah, and I think that he came with a big reputation from Ajax, obviously losing in the Europa League final just a couple of years before that, playing a great game against Manchester United. But all in all, I don't think he's lived up to what everyone expected him to be, albeit, though, I think the last 3 or 4 games he's really starting to come to the party, I think.
Some games he looks absolutely world-class. Other games he kind of goes missing, looks a little bit calamitous, but, you know, again, he's still young, you know, he's still got time to mature. I still think we've got a player there.
He's got time on his side, that's the main point. And he's got all the attributes, I feel, to be a top defender. So let's see how this one progresses.
Yeah.
So number 4, that is Davinson Sanchez. And at number 3, we are going to go for Edgar the Pitbull Davids. Signed from Inter Milan under Martin Jol. What can you tell me about Edgar Davids?
Well, I really... He endowed himself to the fans by kicking Parler up in the air when he played for Middlesbrough. And I think we loved him straight away from that moment. He kind of added that steel, that real tenacity in the team that I don't think we'd actually seen up to that point in a Premiership team. And actually that season that we had under Martin Jol, we looked really, really good. We weren't far away from being like a title challenging team. We had great young players there. We had Robinson, Defoe, Keane, Janes was just coming through. We had a lot of the West Ham players, Carrick.
Yeah.
We actually looked a really good outfit back then, and I think David's added a lot of that steel in midfield just in front of the back four.
But I think that was a position we were probably crying out for a while. Someone good in that central midfield that can kick someone, that can win the ball in the middle of the park. And Davids did exactly that. He was known for his aggressive streak in the middle of the park and his glasses, obviously. Yeah. He scored 1 goal for us against Wigan, which I remember he picked up the ball on the halfway line, dribbled past a few players and then smashed it with his left foot just on the edge of the area.
Yeah.
Played 2 seasons at Spurs. Some say that was a bit too short.
In fact, I would say he's one of the few real marquee signings that we've had.
Definitely.
I consider Klinsmann being a real marquee signing that we got. Edgar Davids, and you could potentially also put in Van der Vaart in there. But I think Edgar Davids at the time was still a very, very high-profile player, and he was wanted by a lot of clubs. So for me, that was like a massive signing.
And that was 3 Edgar Davids, who actually later on joined another North London club in Barnet.
Yeah, my other local team.
Yeah, exactly. Player manager for Barnet, and gave himself the number 1 shirt.
The least we say about that, the better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, number 3, Edgar Davids. Let's move on to number 2, who is actually my favourite player growing up, David Ginola. What can we say about this man?
I actually think, for me, David Ginola is the best player I've ever seen live. I mean, I remember watching a Watford game where he got the ball, he picked up the ball in his own half, and everyone stood up in anticipation for a goal. I've never seen anything like it. He's one of the few players that I've seen that I just thought, you can change a game on your own. You can completely carry a game on your own. Unbelievably world-class, both left feet and right feet. Incredible. Barnsley game as well was that's just the pinnacle of what he could do.
That year in the Cups, he was absolutely sensational because he gets that goal against Barnsley.
Yeah.
The round before, he gets that goal against Leeds, and he was absolutely sensational that day.
We need to talk about that game, by the way, because I think that was the best nearly goal ever scored. He picks up the ball on the right touchline, and he weaves his way in through the Leeds midfield and defence. And bear in mind, that Leeds team was they were top of the table, I think, back then. They were a really top team. And he pings this shot, and Nigel Martin gets a fingertip to it and hit the inside of the post. And I was just absolutely devastated because that would have been one of the greatest goals ever seen. 100%. But he did make up for it.
He made up for it with an absolutely lovely volley, half volley on just on the edge of the area, and as well that game, Darren Anderton getting an absolute peach of a goal as well.
Yeah, it was a good game actually. That, and I thought we were going to win the FA Cup this season after that game. Didn't work out.
We got to the semi-finals,
yeah.
But we did win a cup that year.
Yeah,
1999, the League Cup, which David Ginola had his own say in. The Leicester players were hacking him down all day that game. Obviously, Robbie Savage should have got sent off, but Justin Edinburgh ends up getting sent off. But not only that, in the build-up to that cup run, he scores an absolutely amazing goal against Manchester United as well. I don't know if you remember that.
That's right. Another good game, actually. That was, I can't remember, I think that was 3-1. But I also remember David Ginola absolutely rinsing Ryan Giggs. And just bear in mind that 99 Man United team, also, we were the only team to stop them winning the quadruple. Think about it like that.
Oh, that's right.
I actually, when I'm a pub quiz host, I say that. I say, which team stopped Man United winning the quadruple? Tottenham Hotspur. Because when we're peaking, we can beat anyone. And I remember in that 99 team, when all the top guns were firing, we looked good. We actually looked good. We had a lot of firepower. So David Ginola, unbelievable player. I even remember a goal against Sheffield Wednesday where he just runs into it on his left foot and he doesn't even break his run, just absolutely pings it, left foot curls it into the corner. I'm just a little bit disappointed that George Graham kept benching him.
You know what? I will never forgive George Graham for selling that man. I will never forgive him. Look, George Graham wasn't in our hearts from the second he joined us. I know he won us a trophy, but that is one thing I'll never forgive you for, George Graham. Never, ever. But what says everything about the man is Man United win the treble and he wins 2-time Player of the Year.
Exactly.
That just says everything about him.
Yeah.
It's because he's worth it.
Yeah, it's because he's worth it. And it looks beautiful. Beautiful hair. Beautiful hair.
Now, let's move on to number 1, the great Dave Mackay. Bill Nicholson, the quote says it all. He says, Dave Mackay was his greatest signing as a Spurs manager. And Brian Clough in 2002 says Mackay was Tottenham's greatest ever player.
Yeah, I mean, I never really saw. He's not from our generation, but like, if you speak to anyone that's actually had the pleasure of seeing him, he's normally in everyone's top 10 players of all time.
Yeah.
The famous picture of him grabbing Billy Bremner by the collar, just the ultimate hard man of the 60s, isn't it?
Literally. He joined Spurs in 1959, left us in 1968, making 268 appearances, 42 goals, with a host of trophies to his name as well. Obviously, the great double-winning side in 61, 3 FA Cups, 61, 62, 67, a Cup Winners' Cup as well, and a couple of Charity Shields as well to go to his name.
I think his credentials stand for itself.
It really does.
It really does, yeah.
All right, so that is number 1 David to play for Tottenham is Dave Mackay. Any honourable mentions?
Well, I think we should do some honourable mentions. We've got David Pleat.
Yeah, the ultimate caretaker manager for Spurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Signed Jermaine Defoe.
David Howells. Now, okay, so David Howells is someone from my generation. I would say that he was a bit of like a workhorse in midfield. I actually felt he was quite underrated as a player because he did a lot of the donkey work in midfield. He was the one that kept everything ticking along. I remember famously he scored 2 against Nottingham Forest away. And even he was surprised by that. And the commentator was like, it's Howells again. But he was a solid player, very loyal. I think he was just like one of those players that's just going to be a Spurs fan for life, you know. I think you often see him, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I saw him in the concourse against Leipzig, just enjoying a beer. You know, he's proper Tottenham.
He's proper Tottenham, yeah, in his blood. So David Howells. I'd also like to say Simon Davies.
You know, Simon Davies was a great player for Tottenham. Like, I loved Simon Davies. I even had a shirt with the long sleeves that he used to wear, crunched up my hands while playing, you know, had Simon Davies 29 on the back. I love that guy.
And and a Welsh wizard as well.
Exactly.
You know? I think he had one season where for about 3 or 4 months he looked absolutely unstoppable. I think that was around 2001. He peaked.
Exactly. We actually made that double signing from Peterborough with Simon Davies and Matty Everington. And Matty Everington came with a bigger reputation. Yeah. But Simon Davies was the much better player, I thought.
Well, it's funny because Simon Davies sort of came in and he looked better first, but then he sort of faded away, and then Etherington started to come in, and then they both sort of fizzled out, I think. But at points, Simon Davies looked like, you know, unstoppable, I thought.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's our honourable mention. And, of course, we have to mention
the great Dave Peacock from Chaz and Dave. What more can we say? The absolute moments they've given us over the years with Hot Shot Tottenham, Aussie's Dream, The Year Ends, and the list goes on, how many songs they've made for us. And these songs are still sung on the terraces now. It was an absolutely tragic moment when Chaz Hodges passed away. But what that did bring to us is more Chaz and Dave songs within the stadium, singing Ain't No Pleasing You around away grounds around the country. Absolute Tottenham legends they are.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd quite like if we can bring him in as a guest or some kind of live performance or something like that. You know, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely love that. But anyway, thank you very much, John, for coming on.
Thanks,
that is your top 5 Daves for St. David's Day. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know if we've missed out anyone. Let me know your top 5 Davids. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.